Marie Costanza.
Hi.
What are you doing today? What's the program?
The program is to do a long run today.
Ah, how far is your long run?
Well, my run is only going to be 4 miles.
Oh, well that's pretty good. Nice shoes.
Thanks.
What are those guys?
These are Adidas.
Adidas. They look like Asics.
I mean Asics.
Oh,
I totally meant
no.
Asics.
We don't know our own rides.
Well, I got orthotics in there. That's the most important part.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. Check out my ensemble. These are Newtons, a small company from Colorado. First time I've ever gotten these shoes, and I like them. They have this little like flick thing that push you off in the front. Liquid aminos. Ready to go. Cheers.
How many cheers do you have?
1, 2, 3. And the goal is at least 15 miles, but as many as 17 miles, depending on how I feel.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
plan.
It's a beautiful day.
Yay.
All right, time for a sisterly run.
Ready.
Dropped off Marie at mile 2 for her turnaround. Currently at mile 7.5. Taking a 3-second pit stop because I always have to say hi to this little beast. Hey, lovey. How you doing, bud? Sweet. All right, off I go. I'm just getting ready for my long run here. I got my goos and my aminos. Gonna put on my belt. It's 26 degrees. It was snowing a little bit. I think it stopped now. Just got a little dusting. So should be good to run. I gotta get myself going now because I gotta go to work in a couple hours. I like to be able to stretch it out and kind of just recuperate for at least a half an hour after a run like this before work because it kind of takes a lot out of me. So the plan today is 17 at least. Technically I should be running 20 today, but I started my long runs like a week later than I was supposed to because of my work schedule, so I'm a little behind, but compared to last year, I'm a whole month ahead. And I'm running faster minute miles than I was at this point in March last year. So I'm feeling pretty good, and the key for me is less is always more. I don't ever want to increase my mileage too quickly because that's what causes my old injury to come back in my hamstring. So yeah, 17 today and hoping for an 8:34 minute mile for the 17 miles, and yeah, should be good. I'm seeing it starting to snow again. I have on my absolute warmest fleece lined spandex today, double layer. I made the mistake last week of only wearing my base layer out at 29 degrees and it was windy and I was stupid. I know better than that. Got a warmer headband today, merino wool. So here we go. I have the little eyelash and eyebrow thing going on. It's like all crystallized. My time was 2:20 with average mile split of 8:17. And it's really snowy. It's cold. So I went back in at mile 11 to stretch out my legs. They were getting really tight. And went back out. I hate stopping because like the first mile back on is always a lot of lactic acid. The last 2 miles were definitely the hardest, but I got through them. It was getting pretty slick out there, so I'm ready to be done and get my protein shaken. Alrighty, so this is me completing week 14 of training. I'm counting down, started with 16 weeks, missed checking in last week like I was supposed to, but it's okay because I did all of the training that I was supposed to do, so we're good. Just completed week 14, just finished my 17-mile run, first 17-mile run of 2019, and it went pretty well. Here I'm going to show you my calendar thus far. It's a calendar running journal that I just keep right on my desktop so that I can always see it and know what's going on and kind of coordinate it with my work schedule. I am currently a bartender and a waitress. Sometimes I don't come home till 2:30 in the morning, so I need to adjust such days so that I'm not doing a shift of, I don't know, like 9 or 10 hours and getting home at weird hours and also running 17 miles. That doesn't work. So I have to do a little bit of organizing here. So check out my calendar. Here it is. And up here at the top, I have 7 little cards of everything I need to do for my legs in a week, right? So I got my 3 runs based on this book. And then I also need a leg lifting day, and I need 3 days off during the week intermittently just to recover. On these off days, quote unquote, I am doing upper body or yoga or probably something. At least one off day is a total off day because I just like mentally need a day. Believe it or not, this is all of the mileage that I'm doing in a week so far. First week of February, only 19 miles. The second 24, and now this one was 28. I know that seems super, super low, but I'm telling you, it works for me. So here I'm just tracking my long runs and the splits that I get and the total time and some notes. I just completed this one here, the 17 miles. I got an 8:17 average, which is good because technically, according to this guy, I was supposed to do an 8:34 average, so sweet, ahead of schedule. But as you can see here, I get a little ambitious, and then by the end I kind of start to fall apart a little bit, so I gotta try to not be a rabbit. I've learned that, I've learned not to do that in my races, but I also have to not do that ever during training. Sometimes I just get a little impatient and start running faster. So yeah, I'm doing the legs, squats or leg day, lunges, calves, inner and outer thighs, and lots of stretching and stuff. So cool, there's my calendar. And if I look over here, I don't even have calendar notes from last February because I was so sick. So I actually started my training in March last year, as you can see, and I didn't even realize this till now, but for March, the first time that I ran even close to 17 miles was March 25th. And I remember this run specifically. I had to stop at mile, I think it was like 13 or so, and come in and like eat food, lie down, and stretch before I could continue going because it was so hard. So yeah, comparing notes from last year, super interesting. I feel so ahead of the game. So the cool thing about training this time around is that I've now have a couple marathons under my belt, and last year's specifically was a very legitimate thing to compare to because it's the first time I really trained for a marathon properly. I've been a runner ever since I was in 2nd grade, but marathons is a more recent endeavor for me as an adult since college. So learning how to do it right, learning how to run one correctly, how to train for one correctly, and how you have to change your lifestyle in order to stay healthy while you do it. It took a couple years, more than a couple years, in fact. But that's the kind of cool thing about being an endurance athlete is that experience is everything. You don't necessarily win because you're the youngest in endurance sports. And that's why I love this sport so much, because I'm in my 30s now, and I still have all the potential in the world to be the fastest that I've ever been in my life. And that's cool. It's promising. It's motivating. It makes me want to go out there and see what I can do. And, I want my future self to look back on my 30s and say, yeah, girl, look at her. She was still rocking, man. And she just got the PR of her life. So that's great. And I could have invested in a lot of different sports that I loved and had perhaps thought of pursuing instead of running, but I would have already peaked. And it's so fun to still do the thing that I love to do since I was a little girl. It's awesome. It's kind of elating. I'm psyched about it, and I'm psyched to be able to compare myself to last year and see how much I've grown in just 1 year of training. Last year, I remember once I would hit like the 14 or 15 mile mark, oh man, the first couple times I did it, I was in rough shape. There was a couple times where I'd have to come back in and like recover before I could go out and finish my run. And this time around, my body remembers what it was like, and it's a lot more familiar. There's a bit of a callus that you have to work up while you're training, a tolerance level that you have to push past as you continue to increasing your mileage every week. And I'm definitely not an overtrainer, as you can tell from my mileage per week. And I've noticed that the best the best recipe for me is to only increase my long runs by 2 miles every week. That's it. And even the training program that I'm following suggests I do more, but I just know for me it's not the best choice. So even last week I ran 15 miles, and the last 2 were uncomfortable, 14 and 15, and I thought, geez, I might not be able to keep these splits. This week, running 14 and 15 was great. You know, I felt great. I remembered it from last week. My body knew what to do. And this time it was miles 16 and 17 that were uncomfortable. And I know that next week, or actually next week, it might be just 17 miles again next week. I'm not sure, but whatever. The next time that I am supposed to increase my mileage, I know that hitting mile 17 will be much less hard than it was this week, and that's exciting. Yeah, it's cool, man. I like it. So I'm just having a great time here training and checking in with myself, and I'll just give you another report next week and let you know how it's going.
A whole lot of superstars.